close our eyes and just focus and just do more mantra jap to begin with. So, ek onkar, satnam, karta purkh, nirbhau, nirvair, akal murth, ajuni saibang, gur prasad. Ek onkar, satnam, karta purkh, nirbhau, nirvair, akal murth, ajuni saibang, gur prasad. Ek onkar, satnam, karta purkh, nirbhau, nirvair, akal murth, ajuni saibang, gur prasad. Ek onkar, satnam, karta purkh, nirbhau, nirvair, akal murth, ajuni saibang, gur prasad. Ek onkar, satnam, karta purkh, nirbhau, nirvair, akal murth, ajuni saibang, gur prasad. Ek onkar, satnam, karta purkh, nirbhau, nirvair, akal murth, ajuni saibang, gur prasad. Vaheguru. So, Bhai Sahib asked me to stand up today and talk about actually Guru Arjan Dev Ji Shaheedi. And what we're going to really focus on is the last few moments of Guru Arjan Dev Ji Shaheedi. We all probably come to Gurdwara every year and we hear about the Sakhi and his Shaheedi and what happened. So I want to just take the very last few moments and go into detail about what happened, why it happened, actually what was the cause of it. Because there's so many lessons to learn just from the last few moments. Now, we all know Guru Sahib was tortured for days on end. He was put on a dabdi davi, on a hot plate with sand poured over him. He was put in a cauldron full of boiling water for days on end. So not just for one day or for half an hour, for days on end. And he was tortured, to the point of at the end of his torture, he had blisters all over his body. He was, as Sangat was saying those days, he was unrecognizable. A lot of Sangat didn't recognize him because he had blisters all over his body and he could barely walk. Now, Jandu Shah at that point asked Guru Sahib, I'll give you one last request. What do you want for your last request? And Guru Sahib asked to do a snan in the nearest river and to be escorted by Orange Singh. And Jandu Shah, being a bit malicious, he was like, actually that's a good idea, I'll accept your request. Because he knew from going from a hot dabdi davi and from a hot cauldron into a cold water, that would inflict more pain. So he accepted his request. So Guru Sahib was taken to the nearest river by Orange Singh. He was carried there. And when he got to the river, or got to the riverside, they sat down and they recited Japji Sahib. Guru Sahib recited Japji Sahib for one of his last moments. And then he asked the Orange Singh to help him go into the river and asked the Geetani to actually sing a particular shabd. And that's the shabd I really want to go through today. For his last moments, this was the last shabd that was recited. And I want to go through that and then hopefully we can take the lessons of what Guru Sahib was saying. So the shabd starts, Manamo arulog vikara vyojit na kalyo. So the translation, and I'm going to look for my phone as well, is pride, emotional attachment, greed and corruption are gone. I have not placed anything else other than the Lord within my consciousness. So let's just take that into little bits. Pride, emotional attachment, greed, corruption are gone. So Maharaj here is talking about the Panch Jor. What are we fighting? Every day we have a battle within ourselves. We are fighting the Panch Jor. And our aim of life is to actually get rid of those Panch Jor. Is to get rid of that Panch Jor and to meet with Vaheguru. That is our aim of life. Maharaj goes on to say, I have not placed anything else other than the Lord within my consciousness. That is your aim of life, or our aim of life. We want to have Maharaj within ourselves. We want to have Maharaj within every breath, every mind, every thought that we have. So we need to constantly fight these Panch Jor and let them go away and meet Guru Sahib, meet God while we're alive. Now, we all go through worldly challenges, whether that's family, whether that's studying, whether that's friends or conflict. We all have conflict. But actually, Guru Sahib had the biggest conflict of all. In fact, Guru Sahib went to the extremes to show that actually he can go through conflict and we can still meet Waheguru while alive. And when we go through the Shabad, hopefully that will become a bit more clear. And Guru Sahib in this first line is telling us that actually we just need to fall in love with Waheguru. We need to fall in love with Waheguru and build that into our Jeevan, build that into our lives. So the next line is Naam Ratana Guna Hara Panje Lad Vikarle Chalyo. I have purchased the jewel of Naam and the glorious praises of the Lord. Loading this merchandise, I have set out on my journey. So Mara starts to talk to us about how can we win that war when we have this sponge jaw constantly battling our mind, constantly battling our body and our fighting us. And when we have these worldly challenges, how can we fight that war? Well, Maharaj tells us, I've purchased the jewel of Naam and the glorious praises of the Lord through saying Waheguru. Japa Waheguru, 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 Waheguru. When we say Waheguru, it shouldn't be soft or with little energy. This is how we connect with God. This is how we connect with Guru Arjan Dev Ji in his Shaheedi. When he was sat on that Tatti Tavi, do you think he was weak and saying Waheguru with a soft tone? No, he was saying Waheguru with every ounce of his breath, with every bone in his body. Why? Because he was in love with Maharaj. So when we jump Waheguru, we need to say it so we can feel that love as well. So we can fall in love with Guru Sahib, so we can fall in love with Waheguru. So let's try again. Japa Waheguru, 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 Waheguru. So Maharaj talks about this purchase, this jewel of Naam, this glorious praise of the Lord. And that is what will save us and what will help us to get our aim, to actually merge with Waheguru, by jumping Naam, by saying Waheguru. And then Maharaj goes on to talk about how actually this isn't a way of life. This isn't just a religion, it is a way of life. It's every part of our daily routine. So Paisa was just talking about, in his example, when he was going to the store and he had a choice to make about being truthful or just actually saving on £5–10. Actually, by being truthful, by having every part of our life, by having the principles that are set out in Gurbani, by jumping Waheguru, we can bring those into our lives. We have to then live those and we have to go forward and show other people the beauty of Gurbani and the beauty of Sikhi as well. Guru Sahib came into this world and he didn't just tell us how to act, actually he showed us as well. Guru Sahib's own family, his brother Priti Chand, he was malicious in the sense that he would go and collude with the emperor to say, actually, Guru Sahib is he's using Gurbani to talk against Islam. He would go and he would spread rumours about Guru Sahib to try and, basically because he was jealous that he didn't get the Guru Gaddi and that Guru Arjan Dev Ji did. Now actually Guru Sahib had these worldly challenges, he had these family problems, but he still jumped Naam. He still stayed true to what he knew was important and what Guru Sahib and what Waheguru says is important, and that's jumping Naam, and that's really connecting with Gurbani and with Waheguru, because that's the purpose and that's the aim of our life. Maharaj then continues and says, Sevaka ki orajika nebihi preet. That love which the Lord's servant feels for the Lord lasts forever. So Guru Sahib now talks about the tool used to actually fight those sponge jaw and to stay strong. Guru Sahib talks about building a relationship with Waheguru. It's not just a one-off thing. Actually, this is something you work on day and night. This is something you work on all the time. As a parent-child relationship, there's unconditional love there. A child will unconditionally love their parent, and as they grow up, they will realize how much their parent has given up for them. They'll realize how much the sacrifice their parent has done to love them and to give them what they need to get to where they want to go. And that's the same with Guru Sahib. Guru Arjan Dev Ji knew, and he had utter faith in Waheguru, that he said, you know what, it doesn't matter what you put me through, it doesn't matter what happens, I will 100% believe and I have faith that you are my father and I will always love you. Whatever you do is right. And that's what Guru Sahib talks about. So in this bit, he talks about the tools and building that relationship with Waheguru, and that's how we stay strong. And the next bit is the Rahau Pankti, which basically is the focal point of the Shabad. Jeevat Sahib Sevyo Apna, Janat Rakhyo Jeet Rahau. In my life, I have served my Lord and Master, and as I depart, I keep him enshrined in my consciousness, Rahau. So here Guru Sahib is talking about actually how Guru Sahib is talking about how actually he brought Waheguru into his mind. And now we should ask ourselves, if we got called into a court, or if we got asked, or even nowadays we get asked whether Gurbani is true, whether we are true Sikhs, whether we believe 100% in Gurbani, would we have the strength, would we have the principles to say, yes, Gurbani is our Guru, Guru Granth Sahib Ji is our Guru, this is how we live our life, this is how we want to, this is the principles that we uphold? Would we have the strength to go through whatever we want to go through, or whatever Guru Sahib gives us to go through? Would we have the strength to stick to our principles and carry on going through? Guru Arjan Dev Ji was actually in a bit of a privileged position where he was the first Guru to be born into a Guru's household. He was the first Guru to be able to do seva at home for his father, who was a Guru. And through that, he learned through doing seva for Guru Sahib, doing Simran all the time. That is the most important part of his life. We've got to find that true jewel. We've got to find the true purpose of our life and really connect with Waheguru. And the way we connect in Waheguru is by japing Waheguru, by remembering him, and by actually bringing him inside us so we can feel him and fall in love with him. Now, even if we have doubts, because we're not perfect, we all have doubts, what have we got to lose? Guru Arjan Dev Ji sat on a dati tabi. He was in a boiling hot cauldron for days on end, and he didn't give up his principles. He didn't give up the love that he had for Waheguru. He didn't turn his back on Waheguru and on Gurbani and his principles. In fact, he said, Tera kiya meetha lage. Whatever actions you do, they're sweet for me. Whatever actions happen, I will accept them. So if we have doubts, if we are unsure, what have we got to lose for trying? Even if we just take 2 minutes every day and we jap nam, and we say Waheguru, whether that's first thing in the morning while we're in the shower, whether that's going to work on the tube or the train or in the car, whether that's on our way home, whether that's with our children or our brothers and sisters, if we just take 2 minutes out and we say Waheguru and we remember and we try and fill Waheguru inside of our bodies, if we jump it with our tongues, if we listen to it with our ears and bring it inside of our heart, what have we got to lose by trying? Naam is so powerful that Guru Arjan Dev Ji japt Naam, he said Waheguru, he japt Waheguru, and that gave him sej, that gave him peace. So he could go through, in a way, an extreme torture. He went through the worst thing that we could possibly imagine. But he stayed peaceful. He stayed at sej. And if we want to bring that sej into our lives, then we've got to do the same. We've got to jap Naam. We've got to have utter faith in Waheguru. Japo Waheguru, 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 Waheguru. The Guru Sahib continues and says, Jaisi agya kini thakar, tiste mukh nahi bholiyo. I have not turned my face away from my Lord and Master's command. This is a really simple prayer, and it links in really well to the Rahau Pankti. You know, Guru Sahib talks here about accepting God's will. That whatever has happened in his life, whatever he's been through, whatever he's going to go through, is by Maharaj's hukum, by God's command. And that we need to accept that. You know, most of us, or 95% of us, won't go through what Guru Sahib went through. We won't be tortured for days on end. We won't be challenged in the way that Guru Sahib was challenged. But we will be challenged. We will have different challenges, worldly challenges, our own challenges. But we can use the same tools that Guru Sahib used to stay strong, to stay focused on Naam, to stay focused on what is important. And what was the tool that Guru Sahib used? Waheguru. 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 If we bring that inside us, if we listen and say it and bring it inside us, that is how we then get stronger. That is how then we fight these punishers. That is how we conquer these worldly conflicts that we have, these challenges that we have. That's what Guru Sahib is saying. I have not turned my face away from my Lord and Master. I will accept your will. Whatever you do is right. And in the next bit, Sahaj Anand Rakhyo Gre Peter, Otre Ohahyo Kyo Daharyo. He fills my household with celestial peace and bliss. If he asks me to leave, I'll leave at once. And here Guru Sahib is talking about a household. Now, we have two houses. We have our physical house that we live in. We have basically our temporary house. But we have a more important house as well. And that's our body, our sarir, what we live and what we fill. Now the question is, how do we fill our true home, our body home? How do we fill it with the right stuff? Now, our internal home, we fill it with Waheguru. We fill it by saying Waheguru, by jumping Waheguru, by listening to Waheguru. We fill it by having utter faith in Waheguru. And Maharaj says here that when you fill your household with celestial bliss, you'll get peace and bliss. You'll be at Anand and you'll be at Sej. And this is how Maharaj sat on that Dabi for so long. This is how Maharaj went through all of the conflicts that he went through with his brother, with the Emperor Jahangir, with Jamdu Shah. He made sure that inside he was at Sej. That inside his true home was filled with the right stuff so he could fight the rest of the world. And then Maharaj continues and talks about Agya Maya Mukha Soikara Sukha Soga Harakan Hijanyo. When I am under the Lord's command, I find even hunger pleasurable. I know no difference between sorrow and joy. And Guru Sahib here explains that what happens when you find the true house inside yourself? What happens when you find and you put Waheguru within your body? What happens when you listen and sing and add Waheguru inside you? Well, at that point you become at Sej, you become peaceful. At that point nothing will touch you because you have the right tools to fight whatever comes up through this world. Whatever worldly conflicts that you have, whatever issues or challenges that you face, you have the right tools to fight them. And the main tool is to make sure that you have Waheguru inside you. You know, we have other examples through history by Matidas, by Satidas, by Diyalaji. They had the right tools. They filled their bodies with Waheguru. The Pankti in Gurbani, Sarvani Suniye Rasana Gaye Hirde Dhyaye Soye. So you sing, then you listen, and then you fill your body with Waheguru. And these are what these Shaheedis did in the past. They made sure that their bodies was filled with the right tools, so then whatever conflict, whatever path that they were on, they made sure that they knew how to then fight it, by making sure that they stayed strong in their principles and stayed strong with Waheguru. The Maharaj continues, Jojo Hukam Peyo Sahib Ka So Mate Le Manyo. Whatever the command of my Lord and Master is, I bow my forehead and accept it. Again, this links back to one of the Panktis that we just went through, where it talks about, I have not turned my face away from my Lord and Master's command. Maharaj says for the second time, I will accept whatever you give me. I will accept it and not question it, because whatever you give me, I accept. Whatever you give me is right and you want me to go through. And Maharaj continues, Peyo Kirpal Thakura Sevako Savare Halatu Palata. The Lord and Master has become merciful to his servant. He has embellished both this world and the next. Now in Gurbani it talks about being Jivan Mukt, about being liberated while yet alive, by being at Sej and by reaching Maharaj. while we're still living on this world and while we're still living on this earth. The whole aim of our life, as it said in the first line, and it says again here, is for our soul to merge back with the Supreme Soul, for us to reach back with Waheguru. And then Maharaj finishes with Tana Sevaka Safalo Ayo, Jin Nanaka Kasam Prashata. Blessed is that servant and fruitful is his birth, O Nanak. He realizes his Lord and Master. And Guru Sahib in this final point explains that Naam and Seva is the most important thing to get a blessed and fruitful life. To be at Sej and to have the right life, we have to do Naam, we have to say Waheguru, and we have to really believe and fall in love with Waheguru and jumping Naam, and by doing Seva. You know, we've got to think, do we want Guru Sahib to put his hand on our heads and give us that blessing? Do we want Guru Sahib to help us through our life? And if we do, we've got to take that first step ourselves. We've got to do our Simran. We've got to take a moment every day and say Waheguru. We've got to remember our past and our history and how our Shaheedi Singhs and Guru Arjan Dev Ji gave up everything, gave up their life, went through the extreme of torture, but never gave up their principles. They never turned their back on Gurbani, on Waheguru. In fact, it made them to jump more Waheguru. They kept saying Waheguru until it filled every bone in their body, every blood vessel, every moment of their life. And they fully fell in love with Waheguru, and they merged with Waheguru while they were still on this earth. And that's the most important thing. By doing Simran, you can fight these worldly challenges, you can fight these Panch Jod. By doing Simran, you can take on the world and you can go forward because you've got the right tools within you. You have the right tools to go forward. So let's just take a couple of moments and let's close our eyes and let's focus. Let's jump Waheguru, let it fill us. And when we jump Waheguru, let's listen. Let's do it with our tongues. Then let's listen to the words that we're singing and let it fill us inside. Waheguru, 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 louder Sangatji, Waheguru, 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 Waheguru. So when we go away, we know of what Guru Sahib went through, we know the Shaheedi, and now we've just seen in the last moments in his life, this is the Shabad that was sang, and we've gone through it line by line. Maharaj talks about the challenges that we're going to face and the challenges that he faced, and the one tool is to jump Waheguru. So when we go into our lives, when we go back, to keep our faith in Maharaj, to keep our faith in Waheguru, to stay strong no matter what challenges or conflicts or whatever we face. What do we need to do, Sangatji? Waheguru. What do we need to do? Waheguru. So we need to go home, we need to embed this into our worldly lives. We need to put it, whether it's in the morning or the evening or on the way to work. We just need to find a few moments, start with 2 minutes a day, and jump Waheguru. Really let it fill you inside and fall in love with Waheguru. Clear your mind, focus. And then once you've got that, you increase it to 3 minutes, and 4 minutes, and 5 minutes. And soon, it will increase, and you'll fall in love with Waheguru through that. I just want to say, well, Kumar, if I've said anything wrong, or if I repeated Gurbani wrong, but hopefully that was useful and helpful. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji